Are you the
meeting of the Waitsfield Selectboard. We're going to open the public hearing to consider the adoption of a proposed groundwater protection overlay district. Draft of the district, the bylaw change was included in our packet along with the Planning Commission's report, which is required by statute. JB, you want to give us a quick overview?
Sure.
Before you do, maybe, or come on up. Just for a little bit of background.
Yeah.
It was somewhat controversial at the time. The town well was drilled into a 50-foot right-of-way of a Class 4 road, and that's the only road, the only land that the town has control over. It's surrounded by private property. It's a heavy producing well, and the Water Commission and the Planning Commission have agreed for several years that additional protections are appropriate. And this would just put some restrictions on certain types of uses that would pose a threat to the quality of the well. And that's...
Took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, I would add that I think the drinking water division, this is something that we probably, a lot of towns have let fall through the cracks over the years. But we should have had one in place long ago, I believe. At the behest of Robin Morris, about a year and a half ago, we initiated this process. I took a look at different towns around the state, took a look at the model regulations from the state, and just kind of came through a couple different iterations of this, utilizing the Robin's feedback, Planning Commission, as well as the town attorney. So I think it's pretty good document. It sets up 3 zones. The closest zone, zone 1, and there's a map here. So this will go into the zoning bylaws as an overlay map. And then what I imagine is the standards that are in there, obviously will be their own section, and then they will have a specific section for definitions that are pertinent just to this overlay district. It's how we do it with the flood hazard regulations. Just kind of keeps things pretty neat and separates them by reference. But just kind of look using the reporting form here. The purpose of this overlay is to protect the public health, safety, welfare by minimizing the potential for contamination of the town's water supply. So what it does is it sets up 3 zones, and they're more or less determined by distance or kind of a radius to the town water source. As you get real close to the town water supply, certain uses, a lot of uses are pretty much prohibited. As you get farther away, there are more allowed uses, but they are conditional uses. So you go through the board purposes. You don't want contaminants like, gasoline or other substances getting into the public water supply. For the most part, these public water systems, their source is, I would say, majority of the time in other towns are closer towards Main Street or your commercial area. What we have here in Waitsfield is not so common. But a lot of regulations across the state with this kind of source water protection area really focus in on not having gas stations or lawnmower repair or car repair, anything that could pollute the aquifer. We're in a much better situation because this is an ag res district. There's only a few larger properties up there that border this. We don't really have those same concerns because the ag res district already prohibits many, if not all, of the types of uses we'd be worried about that could potentially contaminate the public water supply.
Actually, about half the district is in the forest reserve.
Which even more restrictive, exactly. So I have not had much, actually, if any. The one landowner did come in a couple weeks ago, had some questions about it because they saw it in the paper. We had a good conversation. They left with the standards themselves and my contact information. I never heard back from them again. So I think it's a good document, and I think it'll do what it sets out to do.
And the Planning Commission has held their hearing
In February, correct? Yep. And we had no attendees there as well.
Any questions?
And the property owners were duly notified.
They do not have to be individually notified. That was a question I had for the town attorney. They do not need to be individually notified. Notice was done pursuant to statute for both the Planning Commission public hearing as well as here at the Select Board. But that was my very initial question before we did this, is whether individual property owners within the overlay district need to be notified. And I was told explicitly by the town attorney that they do not. That would also be a sizable, you know.
You don't have to notify the property owners if they want to restrict their land?
Correct. In this situation, yeah.
And it's,
And I have that in writing.
Anytime you adopt zoning,
Hmm?
you adopt a zoning bylaw change to a district, everybody in that district would be impacted, but typically you don't send out direct notices to every individual zoning property.
But notice was provided in the usual avenue, which is the newspaper.
And you did get contacted by property owner.
Yes, there were one of the property owners up there. Yes, yeah.
This is ag?
Yes, and their property is mainly in the forest reserve. It's ag res, and I would say approximately half, as Brian said, is forest reserve district, which has its own stricter set of limitations. Overall.
The serious restriction, the no develop, is only 200 feet radius around the well.
Correct. It's really that minimum, the most restrictive, where you pretty much can't do much at all, is within a very small 200-foot radius.
And each
to
of
the
the
public
property
waters.
owners affected by that restriction own hundreds of acres.
Yes, correct. Yes, yep.
Does it affect?
And some of them have their own covenants up there as far as development.
Does it
Anyway,
affect cows?
does it affect cows? We do talk about.
Because that's a lot of grazing.
Certainly grazing is allowed to continue.
Okay, well.
Yes, that's your question. Yes,
And so the big change.
they should try not to, drop too many fluids or whatever near the public water supply. But if they can.
Just
Yeah.
to be clear, the big change is that all formerly by right development is now subject to conditional use, and it can't happen unless you get in zone 2.
Yep.
Unless you get a hydraulic.
Correct, by an engineer. Correct. Yep.
and like JB said, I mean, like, there's not gonna be a gas station put up there.
No.
So really, the basis of this is people can't put a septic system in this overlay district.
Correct, yeah.
Is according to my conversation with Robert.
Yes, yep. And we had a lot of back and forth. There was some minutia that I had brought over from the model statute from the state that we kind of went back and forth on with the town attorney. We ended up settling a couple. They were very, very minor. Battery storage systems, I believe, was one. But if you look at that list under prohibited uses, I mean, none of that is, I mean, for the most part, none of that is allowed in the ag res or forest reserve anyway. Dumping of snow carried off site. I mean, that's not stuff the zoning bylaws necessarily contemplates. But those uses up there are not.
So this pertains just to that one region, not the whole town.
These prohibited uses here. Yeah, so it's
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
and you'll see as you move out from zone 2 to zone 3, what is usually permitted anyway in the district, the underlying zoning district, would just go to the DRB for more careful review.
Okay.
And we did have some vetting on this by Peter Lazorchak of the Water Commission, so I think it got the powers that be in the Water Commission give it their stamp of approval before it went through the adoption process.
Any other questions? Recognizing that there's just 3 of us, are we ready for a vote? We have a motion to approve it.
I'd make a motion to approve the groundwater protection overlay district as recommended by the Conservation Commission.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That's it.
Cool.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
As always, JB, very clear.
I'll text Robin and let him know.
He will be very happy.
He'll be happy, but won't be happy to keep getting water commission emails.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gathering.
Sorry about that.
So let's call the meeting to order. First item is, are there any changes to the agenda? Do we want to put the Jen grant just as a topic for discussion?
Sure.
Why don't we do that? We don't have to take action tonight, but let's put that before the work plan discussion. And public comment? Seeing none, we don't have any guests on Zoom. So we'll move on to our wastewater project SBR system selection. John, are you here for that, I assume?
Yes.
No.
Back here for support, John. He's here for the tax rate.
All right, so we've been moving the wastewater project design along. We're very far along in terms of the collection system design, how we get the wastewater to the disposal site. And what we really need to make progress on now is the disposal, the treatment system design, and prior to disposal in the large on-site leach fields at the Munn site. We, because there are a lot of differences in shape and size and electrical requirements and things associated with different types of wastewater treatment technology, we followed a recommended process that the funding agency encouraged us to take, which is pre-select a wastewater treatment manufacturer so that what building we design around it is ready and specific to that design and not have to be reworked if some other equipment came in as part of the project. So we have put this out twice for competitive selection. The first time we didn't receive any valid on-time bids. We did receive 2. One was heavily qualified, which is not allowed, and one was not in time. So we put it back out. The one that had submitted late was the only one that submitted this time. They are a well-known sequencing batch reactor manufacturer that has done several systems in Vermont and around the Northeast. That's one of the most common types of treatment systems that is being, when a plant is doing an upgrade from the Clean Water Act era systems, the centralized ones from the 70s and 80s, a lot of them are putting in SBR systems. And so it's a known, we checked their references as well, just to verify good references. The costs are in the range that we had been carrying in our cost opinions that we've been submitting to the funding agencies. And there were a couple of nuances in their bid, but nothing, not a qualified bid. It was, there was one thing we had to basically make a decision on, which was whether the controls for this system need to be compliant with the Build America, Buy America Act, which as of right now, we assume they do because there's no waiver for that requirement. We might apply for a waiver if it would save the town that money down the road, but we won't have that waiver until further in the design if we do get one. So we're recommending that the town enter into an agreement with them and issue a notice of award, that they will be the SBR system manufacturer that gets used in this design for a total price, which isn't how it's in the notice, the draft contractor draft notice of award. It should say $615,630, consistent with our recommendation letter. In the draft notice of award and draft contract that you got in your packet, it said a number that didn't include the BABA compliant controls. So that number should be $615,630.
But it is in,
It's
on page 35.
And it's in the recommendation letter that way.
There's a lot of information here to go through, and I talked
Yep.
to York about this. We're giving them a notice of award, but we're not entering into a contract to commit to buy this until we decide whether we're moving ahead with the project.
Right. You're entering into a contract that you're not buying it. If the Essentially, this contract would get assigned to the general contractor who bids on the project, hopefully in about 8 months.
And there's
Not-
wording in it. Sorry, there's wording.
I was not able to, I was looking through, in 8 months, and if we don't assign the contract in 8 months, the price might change.
The price would get adjusted by an index number that is available. It's called the Engineering News Record Construction Index. And so we have the ENR index number for, I think the date that it starts is, I'll have to check what the starting date of that index number is, but it's either when we advertise it or it's when we issue the notice of award. And then if we go past 8 months, we would look up what that index number is. It's a published number. And it's strictly a ratio. It's a number with no units, 14,322.10 or something, you know, and,
Yeah.
and then if it was 15,000, it would get adjusted by 15,000 divided by 14, whatever I just said.
I do want to say, I actually don't know exactly what it is. Chuck, in our meeting, read it directly from it.
Yep.
But now I can think about, I actually don't remember if I actually looked exactly at what it said. And he then put it in quotes. But I guess you're right. I cannot say exactly where it came from. I mean, I trust that Chuck read it off the contract.
Yeah, I know we've set what that index number, you know, what that it would be adjusted by if it goes past 8 months.
And,
so-
and that we're not locked into buying it if we don't move forward with the project.
That's correct. Yep. You don't have to just buy the equipment and have it sit in the field.
Do you know where in the agreement, does it say that in the agreement or in the notice of award?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't.
Say what, sorry?
I'm wondering whether the language that makes it explicitly says that if the project doesn't go forward, this doesn't go forward, we're not buying anything. Is it in the notice of award or in the agreement, draft agreement? 'Cause we're only signing the notice of award.
Right.
Or are we doing the agreement between owner and contract?
I think we would be doing both ultimately, but the notice of award is the first thing.
Stevie, you were at the meeting, do you have any recollection?
Whether that was part of the agreement of the actual award itself.
Yeah, where it might be.
My guess it would be part of the agreement.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That would seem the most logical. I don't have a copy.
And these are the abbreviated documents. So.
Yeah, the documents are like hundreds of pages.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know if you guys consolidated these. Chuck kind of made it sound like there's a I think maybe you guys consolidated them for this purpose.
Notice of award starts on 59.
I don't mind moving forward and authorizing town administrator to sign it, dependent on him
Finding that.
confirming that there's an out if we don't go forward with the project. I'm not obligated.
Yeah, so we can, so with that, so if you guys pass it, I'll circle back with John and Chuck tomorrow if I can't find it.
That'd be fine.
And then we're-
We good to make sure about that.
We don't need a single batch reactor. I don't think.
No.
I mean, it was one of the, I think it was one of the first questions that we had in the meeting. We're like, but what if? And he's like, yeah, it's literally in word, and he read it.
And there are also protections for if you don't get, you're allowed to not proceed if the project doesn't receive sufficient funding, for example. You have so
I mean, that's the risk.
Or probably if the select board decides not to do it. I mean, there's different, like,
Right,
we
there
have
could be-
multiple ways out,
yes,
but we need to see that.
So is that okay with folks to have a motion to authorize the town administrator to sign the notice of award and agreement? Providing he determines that we're not obligated if the project doesn't go forward.
And so move.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
That's
Aye.
fair. So John and JB, tomorrow we can make sure we find it. And then if we can't find it, we'll ask Chuck and have him highlight it for us.
As long as we have a-
I'm sure it's there. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's in the longer version. Pretty sure, because I just re-flipped through and it's not right
It's
there.
got a search function.
I think on my tablet, I wrote down his quote even.
Yeah.
But I don't have that in front of me.
So just while we're on the topic, are we planning on having a pretty detailed update at an upcoming meeting?
Yes, I mean, I mean, USDA, we expect to hear from USDA 100%, if not this week, next week. That will be coming to the select board, the next select board meeting, which we're gonna have to heavily discuss it, because that will be the date that we have to say by August 6th, whether we're going forward with a yellow light.
Yeah.
Like accepting the USDA. It doesn't mean that we're stuck with it necessarily, but if we don't accept it, it is gone.
Take it or leave it.
We
And
don't
then-
know how much it is yet. We're-
Right.
No, we're
We're hopeful.
we're waiting. I think we have an idea, but we don't know what the package will look like, grants versus loans.
Right.
And John actually did some pretty, what you added for that school in terms of adding part of phase 2, just the funding, because originally it was just going to be phase 1, could be really huge. I mean, huge. And then also looking into, I mean, basically there's just a lot of policy discussion. So if we yellow light it as a select board, then move into a funders meeting, and more importantly, a workshop, I think, where we really say, what's this gonna look like? What are the policy implications? And how can we
What are the
move forward?
Fair implications,
Yeah,
we haven't gotten to.
Yeah.
and there's some good work on that. Robin Morris worked on, he didn't do the worksheet, but he created the worksheet with different scenarios. So we'll be able to, like in Excel, put different scenarios in, and then it will do the math for us, which is gonna be really handy. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going forward.
On a related topic, is the water system has grown incrementally, rates went down again this last billing cycle, and have a meeting with a potential large user later this week that might even bring it down further, so, yeah, it's possible.
It's great. It's great.
There was another water system built around the same time that saw the same effects up in the island. South Alberg Fire District number 2. Their rates went down from their initial over time.
I mean, ours is on that almost every year, just the debt service drops a little bit. Is that what's kind of what's happening?
It's going down, I mean, I'm a one single ERU user, and my yearly has gone from 800 to under 600.
That's
Forgive me if you've already been told this, but the USDA offer is the only project in Vermont they're going in on this year. And they don't know if they'll be doing any in the year after. So it is a really timely
I think they said,
opportunity here.
I think they said, quote, this is the #1 project in Vermont of the USDA.
It's the #1 and only they're
And-
supporting. And
Easy to be number
so it'll be their best
Well,
offer
only
for
because,
sure.
only because I think it's the one that they are supporting.
Yeah,
I think
no,
those
that's
are
great.
projects that are important. So we'll see what a grant loan package. Every time I talk to them, I'm like, well, more grants is better than loans. I kind of say it as a joke, and they don't think it's funny.
That's in the 28th, right?
They- It comes out of their underwriting, so I don't think they have a lot to say.
Okay,
That's great, John. Thanks for coming.
yeah, thanks for coming down.
All right, thanks.
Item is to review and set the municipal tax rate.
I just want to know where what the language looks like.
Yeah, if you, maybe send that around. So, set a municipal tax rate of 58.5808 cents plus the local agreement rate of 0.0029 cents for a total tax rate of 0.5837 cents, which is down from last year, from the current year.
So, Brian, you asked me to figure this out. So I got two, do you want to hear it?
Yeah, I think I saw it in, is it in,
Oh, did,
in Steve's?
I don't remember, because Sandy and I did a bunch of math separately.
Reading it.
There's a long name.
Yeah.
Are you looking
There
for
it is.
the
So-
memorandum,
Yeah, what page is that?
page 60?
62.
Got the addendums on 60.
So the FY '25 rate was 5865 and it's going to 5837.
So the difference, if for a $400,000 house, is what Jen and I did, or your overall difference on a $400,000 house, including education, is $102.80 less this year. For the municipal part, it's $11.20 less. So I mean, it is lower.
And we had projected it to be about a 1/4% higher.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons for this, and this is something that has had some kind of repercussions, we neglected to put the local agricultural stabilization item on the ballot this year. We just fell through the cracks as we were going through our work without a town administrator to get ready for town meeting. There's 2 properties that are affected by that. I was in communication with both of them soon after town meeting, apologized for it dropping through the crack, also encouraging them to consider looking into the current use program, because as I understand it, they're both eligible for that. And the current use program doesn't have a direct impact on Waitsfield property taxpayers like the stabilization agreement does. So,
I think this should sunset.
but we're gonna have that discussion when we do the budget this year. I know we're gonna be,
We
at
talked,
least one of those property owners is gonna come back and ask to do it again. I'm gonna, one of them reached out to York and me within the last day or so.
Yeah.
And I had communicated with them via email in March. I'm gonna encourage them to look into current use again.
He called today.
encourage first, but I think we ought to draw a line and sand someplace.
Yeah, I'd like to know what
Because that came
Rates are.
before
That was
the
before current use.
current use. That's something we did to help the farmers at that time, but current use came along. And so I don't see any obligation for the town to continue that indefinitely.
And they're both properties are farmed by local farmers, so
Yeah,
they're eligible.
They're eligible.
Dave Hartshorn and Hadley Gale.
It just means applying on their part.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because it was brought to our attention
Yeah.
recently and to explain why, that's one of the reasons that we overshot our projection a little bit more than it turned out to be.
And he called and we talked for a while, but he was very respectful, very kind, and is going to want to look into it again. But again, I don't think he entertains the
Yeah.
new options, and so maybe we can help him along with that a little bit if he needs.
Yeah, just let her know the rates and then make sure, I mean, I assume it's the regulatory definition of the farmer. Pretty sure he does.
I think so.
Okay, so we have a motion on the tax rate.
And I have a recommended motion that Sandy offered in the town administrator report. I don't know how important it is, but she liked
Say
that
that
word.
again.
It's number 1 in the town administrator report, recommended motion. It's just one sentence. But, Sandy knows what she is doing, so I usually like to not disappoint her.
Make a motion to set a municipal tax rate of 0.5808 $1,000, is that correct?
Yep.
Plus a local agreement tax rate of $0.0029 for a total tax rate of $0.5837.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The next item is, in recent years,
Can I back up for just a second?
Sure.
When we do our select board report for the annual report, town report, that ought to be, our tax rate, municipal tax rate dropped, should be so noted there. So that everybody.
yeah, I'm hoping that, Lisa thinks it's newsworthy.
Oh.
I mean, it's a pretty big deal.
Townspeople should
Yeah.
be aware that
Maybe we should make
the
balloons
municipal.
with the tax rate on it.
Let's talk about town meeting in September. So there is a potential penalty if people are late in declaring their homestead declaration. It's a minimal penalty and it's not worth its value as far as the clerk is concerned and the tax collector is concerned in enforcing it. In the past, we have waived the penalty, so it doesn't put us into a position to kind of arbitrate state income tax issues because anyhow, I don't know all the details. We've done this every year since 2013. And I'd entertain a motion to do it again.
I can find the verbiage, but I would so move.
You moved that
62.
the Waitsfield Selectboard waive the homestead declaration late filing penalty for fiscal year 2026, consistent with the board's actions since 2013.
I would so move.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
That was well done.
Do you want to talk about the dump truck?
If you'd like me to.
Yeah, I'd like.
So
I'm a little confused because we have already bought this.
we've not bought
We
it,
haven't paid for it.
correct. So the select board agreed to buy a dump truck apparently in like 2023.
Yeah.
Apparently they're very back ordered. They have a chassis on the lot. And so they would like us to purchase the chassis now. And originally, we weren't gonna have our dump truck in use for it because it was all gonna happen at the same time. Now we can purchase the chassis for, I think, a slightly better price, still use our dump truck until this is done, which is probably not gonna be done until next spring, maybe early spring, late winter. And then at that time, we'll trade in the dump truck for the new dump truck, which will, I think theoretically, almost offset all the cost of the dump truck parts. Or hopefully mostly, if that explains it relatively well. So we're looking for you to approve the purchase of the chassis for the dump truck, which is in the packet. I can't say what page it's on. It should be close to where we just were.
Yeah. What is the?
That's the elevator.
I tried to put them in order. I hope it's in here.
Yeah, I think it's past the elevator.
What's the brand?
It is in here, right?
They have a
Yeah,
brand.
it is.
Allegiance.
I remember reading it.
I messed up and didn't put it
This
in
is
order.
page 100. Is that correct?
I haven't found it yet, if you say so. Oh, is it Allegiance?
Page 100.
Yes, Allegiance.
International. The Cummins engine. We're also paying for the warranty, which I talked to Josh about, and I guess that's right. So it's a total of $131,037, and we have more than that in the reserve for this purchase. Which I may have put in here.
And there will be additional costs because I think our capital budget had us in at like 164
Yes, we definitely, yes, that's right.
to outfit it.
That's right. Josh made it sound that trading is gonna absorb a lot of that cost.
Yeah.
But I wasn't exactly sure how much.
Okay, here we
Probably because we can't know yet.
I think that's part of
Any questions? Let's do it. Got a motion to buy it at the cost of $131,037.
Second.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
All right, sorry, my paging numbers is messed up. Do you want me to talk about the elevator?
Yes, I don't want to.
So in short, last week, the elevator was acting nuts. Jen went to look at it. It set off the alarm for the building. The fire department was called. The safe actually closed like it's supposed to. Otis came out the next day to look at it. Long story short, a big piece, and I don't remember what it's called, is gone bad and needs to be replaced. There's 2 quotes. One is for the piece that needs to be replaced. The other is for changing the oil out. I guess when they put this in 8-9 years ago, they were recommending what Otis told me is basically vegetable oil. It's not vegetable oil, but basically vegetable oil. Since then, they've changed to recommending a regular 5W whatever oil. So the second quote proposal, somewhere around $2,000. I'm sorry, I don't have it right in front of me. Is to replace that. So we can do one or both.
It was 85-25.
Yeah, that sounds right. That's for one of them, I think. There's 2. And sorry, I should
And
just
then
put
there's
it,
an additional cost to get rid of the old oil.
yep, to empty the reservoir and basically put the new oil in. I should have just written them down in the thing, I apologize. So,
Oh, yeah, you have to initial to accept oil removal for $2,700.
yeah, so that's an extra 2,500. So I was gonna skip ahead. Everyone in the office is a little upset about this, leave that there. I reviewed the contract, started reviewing the contract. It's a 5-year contract with Otis we went into agreement last, I think Annie signed it probably a month before she left. So it's pretty new. It's $100 a month. What they're supposed to do is come out annually and do a pretty thorough check. From my understanding with what I looked at, that includes, it's a little hard to say, but should include what just went bad. I do not have that, I'm calling inspection, it's not really inspection, report. I reached out to Otis, they sent me a website that I'm supposed to be able to log on to, and all the credentials aren't letting me log on. So, and then their office was closed, because they did finally send it to me, Brian. So I guess we need an elevator that works. If it were up to me, I would probably not pass it tonight, maybe, but it's up to you guys, and find out because maybe we shouldn't be. I question if we should bear the.
We're going to
Full
pursue our
cost.
best efforts to make sure that this works at that,
Thank
not
you.
unreasonable
And
cost to the taxpayers.
hopefully, I mean, it means we don't have an elevator for a couple more weeks, which I appreciate could be a hassle. And I know people do use it now and then. But yes, I think it would be worth probably stalling 2 weeks and see if we can get more answers. And I'm still not sure if we can put it out for bid, given our current contract with them.
Yeah,
And I don't know the answer to that yet.
I'm wondering what their commitment was. It doesn't seem like we've really had a chance to figure that out yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to find all that out, and then if we decide we're out of luck, then we can
That's right.
discuss
Then we might,
approving this remotely.
that's good.
So we'll table that for now. And I trust that Jen and whoever else has meetings in public will do whatever they can to accommodate somebody who might have some access issues to the upstairs, to provide them whatever, either
Change the meeting
alter the
location
meeting
downstairs.
location or provide them with whatever, any materials up here that they might need to see.
Okay.
And most town businesses carry on downstairs.
I just want to make sure I take that note.
All right, move over that one.
Jen Grant.
Yep.
you pushed it.
So, we started talking about it here. Beginning of the meeting, we did have a landowner on North Basin Road, Jennifer Grant, came to the select board, last, August, September, after the July flood. asked for us to sponsor a FEMA buyout. What that means is that FEMA would buy the property, tear down the house, reclaim the site, and the town would take ownership of it. And it would be restricted in use for conservation purposes. We agreed to pursue that with her. She then went through some confusion with different federal agencies, not knowing that she was going to be able to secure the buyout agreement. They have come back to her and offered it to her. I don't know, this came up today, like this afternoon.
I mean, they sent it actually on July 10th, the anniversary of the flood. But I finally had a chance to talk to Matt Hand, is the person we're dealing with the VEM. And so got a lot of the answers to the questions I had so that I could talk about this, at least with some knowledge.
Do folks have any questions about it? Is there anything that we should look into before we go ahead? It seems like putting a house back in harm's way doesn't seem to be in anybody's interest.
I mean, so Jen Grant is very, sorry, I did not sleep last night. I cannot come to hers at all. She's looking forward to signing this agreement, and then I would also sign it with, what you guys want to do. Essentially, there's almost nothing the town actually does right now. It's a 6-month process. VEM pays for the lawyer fee, which is basically make sure that everything's done properly. And then VEM, and I think with our help, but basically VEM hires a contractor to clear the site and do all the grading, et cetera. And then at the end of the process, we basically get the deed. I don't remember how they call it. It's basically in perpetuity as a flood zone to not be built on.
I don't recall if Waitsfield's ever done this before. Warren did after Irene, or maybe another flood where the Riverside Park was a buyout property.
I think Moytown's done it too.
I think they have on the Winooski, right? Or-
Yeah.
What size property are we talking about here?
I have no idea.
You don't have the tax maps up?
No, I don't know actually.
It's small.
I kind of invited myself, and Jen said, "You're welcome," because I talked to Jen today also, Jen Grant. So I probably will go do a little field trip there soon, since she was more than happy to show me, which should help since it's going to be town property. And if you'd like, now that you mentioned, I mean, I could reach out to Warren or Town and just see if there's anything that we should be aware of. And again, she's looking forward to having this signed by us and her. With that said, Matt, the VEM contact person, said we don't need to rush. If you want to review for the next 2 weeks, that's fine.
You know the property, Fred?
It might not be the only property in there in time to come.
I was thinking the same thing after this.
You might own a whole strip through there.
I mean, it's probably what it should have been like, probably originally. I would guess,
It
like you
shouldn't
probably,
have- It shouldn't have been.
Never
But I
mind.
see your property is right on the downward, the curve runs right into it.
Yes.
yeah, she said below, I don't remember whose property she said it is, but she said a name. She's like, there was parts for a tractor down there or
Right.
something, and so many trees, and they're like, basically, they were all my trees.
Well, just upstream from her, an A-frame got inundated during the flood, during Irene. And we had to condemn it.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
But this
it
is
was-
the only potential one in that area that has been pursued, right? And the deadlines are all.
as far as I know, that is correct.
It was the only one that, I'm pretty sure that we had to sign off as a sponsor, and it's the only one that we were requested to
Well, it's worth signing off now.
do.
We know what we need to do.
Want to go ahead?
Yes.
A motion to
Make a motion.
authorize,
York to sign on our behalf.
second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Yep.
Great.
Congratulations, John.
Yeah, she'll be very appreciative.
So the next item is our work plan, and looking at the minutes and my recollection is we finished with planning projects, and then we're set to talk about ordinances and policies.
I did, just to skip up, sorry, Brian, I added Farley Park. I don't think it was in there under property maintenance. I toured it with Kurt last week. And I think there's been so much headway. I just want to make sure that like that keeps moving forward if you wanted to.
No, I appreciate that. In fact, things are happening, decisions, we work with the Conservation Commission, the citizen group. We need to bring this to the town pretty soon.
Oh,
Probably within the next meeting or two.
the Farley Park.
Yeah, to make some decisions. They would like to have kind of a soft opening in October. With certain features made, so I need to talk to JB about the permitting for that, and the select board needs to sign off on it. So we should probably get an update with our the designer and some of the Friends of Virginia who have been spearheading the property. This is
I need to visit it.
you know where it is?
Well, I know where Riverside Park is.
I mean, I'll go out with
No,
her sometime if you like.
I would like to visit.
Yeah,
I
I'd be
Kurt and I
glad to
spent a
go
lot
out
of time
there anytime. It's across from, what is it now? Easy Street, Purple Moon.
Norms.
Tardy's, across from the Catholic Church. And it was bought by the town in the 90s. A lot of materials were stored on it after Irene.
Oh, sure, they've been doing knotweed stuff.
That's what they're doing now.
I know where it is.
In Virginia, the select board agreed, Virginia worked for the Vermont Land Trust for decades and did probably most of the land conservation in the Mad River Valley, was the staff person for them. And agreed to allow people to raise money for private improvements to the park as a public park. And they raised about $50,000. And have been kind of working on, it's intended not as a recreation park, but as more of a contemplative park, a low key, not another Lewis swim hole. There's really not a great swim hole there, which is probably a good thing. So the idea is not to have a lot of infrastructure, but to have, parking for a few cars and a stone bench that's a kind of an important feature based on her history and a few other kind of landscaping things. We have, I met with Hadley Gaylord, who has been farming it, haying it, to try to coordinate, and the idea is that he will continue to hay a portion of it, which would be, good maintenance of it. And then I've talked to the Path Association about possibly path mowing and things like that. So those are some more details that will come to the select board.
Thank you for that.
I mean, I think Kurt, just to build upon that, just because I think it's exciting and kind of somewhat of a meditative walking path, because it's, since all the work's been done with the knotweed, it's just like the birds, it's very lovely. It'll make a great little path.
Yeah, and the idea is to do pollinator plantings and bird plantings and boxes and whatnot. But,
And they're doing cool studies with the knotweed there.
And so right now, where would you park to best access it?
There's an entrance.
There's a farm driveway, just across from the Catholic Church and the building next to it. It's that Mad River, they sell donuts there, bagels.
Backcountry bagels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty clear.
Okay.
You just drive down and you can
and
see.
you might be able to see the rocks, what's going to be like the rock bench. You might be able to see that from the road, there's just a pile of rocks.
So,
Sorry, I moved back up, but.
And as far as that, then you put that property maintenance, you have the fairgrounds property on there too, because that is also going to be a topic we talked about under Select Board Roundtable recently that I've had conversations with Hadley about, and we will need to come back to the Select Board about some type of lease agreement for use of the fairgrounds for grazing, coupled with some decisions about fencing to keep the cows out of the winter.
Yeah.
No more info to come on that.
Only conversations with him that is coming.
You know, after we talked about it last meeting, the tripwire seems to be putting in that fence and wanting to have an agreement that we'd give it to him for what, 10 years, was it?
No, that's
Yeah,
for,
that
that's
was
for
the-
pursuing grant money.
That was if there was 100% grant funding for the fence. I think if we were to do some kind of cost sharing, which he's willing to put in the labor, we could do a shorter term agreement.
Well, I was thinking, yeah, if we ever decided we wanted to, we could buy him out
Exactly. And that could be in the
Remaining.
contract.
the remaining years.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I would think that we don't want to give it too long term until we go through the planning process that the Conservation Commission talked about at our last meeting to get a little public input on it. But I don't,
It's fair.
I think, at least in the short term, keeping it open is a good thing. Cut.
And in the short term, keeping them out of the river.
Yes.
We must, unfortunately.
If there's, Brian, if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know.
Yes,
Because
I-
right now, it's been on other people's radar, and so I've just been watching it happen. So
Have
just,
you been to the fairgrounds?
I know where it is, but I've not been.
No, we should do that.
That'd be great.
I've taken those all.
Okay.
I mean, it's talked
Down
about
by
a
the
lot.
river, but down by that brook stream, it's beautiful, just gorgeous.
Where? On the-
On the fairground property, down by the brook, the
Oh,
stream there, where the gales are
The
water.
the
It's
waterfall?
gorgeous. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just gorgeous.
Yeah, and then on the other side, the forest is really, really impressive. The hemlocks and pines are huge.
And I just added blue ledges to there. I've actually felt like it was on here somewhere, so it might be, and so I'll move it from property maintenance. But since I know the Conservation Commission is looking forward to working on that in the future, so I just added
So back to ordinances and policies.
it's property
Yeah,
maintenance
yeah,
towards the top.
I found it.
No, I know.
I was, Dave asked
Yeah,
for it.
I'm-
Oh, got it, okay. So back to where we left off at ordinances and policies. We've got domestic animal ordinance, short-term rentals are two high priorities. You know, I'd also like to put at least as a medium priority, the procurement policy. And the water ordinance, the water commission is working on the changes to the water ordinance.
So that's happening.
Hopefully, they're not meeting until their August meeting, and that's gonna be the topic of conversation. Might take 2 meetings to get through that and then bring it to the select board.
What do you want me to put for water ordinance, Brian? Do you want a medium or high?
Yeah, I guess, I view it as high.
I agree.
Okay. But
I
But
know,
the key-
I know Steve thinks it's a high priority.
it is, and Robin would say it's a high priority.
And like we discussed the other day, just to have it's being worked on by somebody is what
Yeah.
personally would give me the most.
Because if everything's a high priority and they're all being worked on by York, nothing's a high
We're
priority.
not giving them any good guidance.
Right, so the
Yeah.
water ordinance, I created some documents, but the water commission is doing,
Yeah,
Work.
but so let's just put.
and so I'll put that in.
I don't know if you can put it in person or you have to put it in text, but I'd like to have in progress as a tag and then
Yeah, just put working on it, and then I'll put in the comments. And
water commission.
I mean, it turns out that this, like we said, Monday.com, I actually do kind of love it, but there's a lot of things we can't do on it because we have the free version. And so it's just the reality. And I don't know what that means.
Relook into what the next step up is. Or you said we were running out of the free version though.
Right, yeah, but I'm still using it. So like it won't let me use the timeline, but for the most part, I'm able to use it.
Can I schedule a meeting to come sit down?
Yeah.
So I understand that.
We've talked about making changes to the personnel policy too. I think the others are more pressing.
I mean, there were things that came up this spring, but it was the first time probably ever. I think when we have a chance to add some adjustments to the personnel policy, probably be a good move. But I agree, it's like the water ordinance is higher.
Is there a place where we're kind of tracking those issues that we know we have to address? So we don't need to go back and collect them at some future date, you know what I mean?
I mean, I would say on this,
in my head, and it's not a complete list. There were healthcare issues that came up.
Yep.
And we did talk about looking into healthcare options and changing our policies.
Well,
about
vacation policy,
Vacation policy.
there were things, but the office, it wasn't a huge problem, and we did the right thing and the legal thing, and so it wasn't a huge deal. It could,
What are you talking
we're talking about an employee that left but had used a little bit more vacation
Oh.
time than they had. And so since we didn't have a personnel policy, for it, he had, it's not a huge deal. But there's also some workforce comp things in there. I mean, there's some adjustments we can make.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to figure out what the issues are, and then if any of them need more research or help, then we can kind of identify those. And because once we really do want to do it, if there'll be a lot of time required.
That would be a good one actually for a group to even, I mean, I like groups of people coming together to conversate because that's how I work best. But like that would be a good one that if a few people got together and just like looked at it and worked through it, and like even just one sitting could be, could discuss those best practice things and how they work with our town. So that then, like that would be easy if I had the stuff to then put into a document to then bring to the select board. It's coming up with like what you want and the ways to make best practice unique for us. But I don't know what that looks like.
A memorandum of agreement between Waitsfield and Basin. I'm not sure whether this is the fire department, which is extremely outdated or dated, it's old, or our road agreement, which I think we kind of worked out this last year. We simplified it.
That's right.
I can't say I know what that is because that was moved, at least right now, I can't remember. It was moved from the Excel sheet. And some of those things, I'm like, this looks important, but I didn't exactly know what it was.
Well, we have the MOU with the Waitsfield Basin Volunteer Fire Department is our cost sharing agreement and decision making. And then we have a road maintenance agreement where we pay each other for portions of road that we maintain. So we maintain.
Oh, right.
We pay them to maintain Bragg Hill in North Basin, and I don't remember the details, but
That was just redone?
And center.
in Center Basin,
Center
yeah, the
Basin.
class 1 roads that go into, and we maintain some of them, they maintain, and we had a complicated cost sharing calculation that seemed overkill and decided last year, let's just simplify it, what the annual cost is. But that'll come up when we meet with them later in the year as we start preparing budget. So I, put it at a meeting priority, and it's going to depend on Basin's interest and willingness.
And then fire department, you said that's more pressing? Did I hear you say?
No, I didn't say it's more pressing, it's just, it's, my recollection is it's really old.
It should be reviewed
Yeah, it should be at least reviewed.
jointly.
So we should just put that on as a topic for our joint meeting with them later in the year. And in the past, we've met with them on separate occasions, one to deal with the road and the other one to deal with the fire department. And I think my first year on the board, we had a joint meeting at the fire station, which was really helpful.
I mean, if we start looking into updates to the fire department, fire hall.
And the one suggestion I have, if the text is too unwieldy, and this also, you could make a subtask for, all these policies, right? And you can say, okay, what's the next, like the top subtask, okay, what's the next thing we have to do? Do we have to figure out who's working on it? Do we have to set a meeting with certain stakeholders? Do we have to investigate a legal issue? Because then that kind of gives, I guess, me a concrete idea of what the next thing is that needs to happen.
Yeah, thanks for, so I just added set a meeting with Facein, which basically is when we have our meeting and to review.
We talked about tax stabilization agreement earlier, that'll come up in the budget year. December,
So we know when we have to have more research done or more. thinking done?
Yeah, I'm,
You got it.
yeah. That'll be during our busy time, but it won't be that big of a lift. Not that much information. What else? Fred, you've raised, issue about covered bridge damage that you're looking into with the sheriff.
And I wonder if we want to expand it to all town property.
Well, I was wondering that too. I wouldn't want to just have, we have. two
Initially, I was concerned about the bridges.
Yeah.
On reflection, if someone damaged any of our town property, there should be repercussions.
And the sheriff just wrote about this today. Because he wrote,
So currently, there's only criminal repercussions, correct?
Well, I mean, they're live, I'm not sure what.
Common law liability.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no statutory.
Yeah, I mean, so when the big damage was done to the village bridge, our insurance company stepped in and paid right away, and they're trying to recover it from the drivers.
Okay.
And that's not, I don't know how that's going.
But we have was it $1,000 deductible?
Yes,
I'll add.
which I said, are we gonna get that back from them? And they said, probably not.
Probably not. Hence, if we had an ordinance.
Yeah.
To go after someone, so we could get that $1,000. And that still doesn't cover staff time and everything to.
And did you see because of a conversation I had with Dave last week, I'll just say I made this town work plan, where are we memo?
Thank you for doing that.
Under covered bridges, I didn't know this was a thing until the sheriff's like, well, you're working on this, right? And do you want me to bring them up now? 'Cause one's the covered bridge.
Sure.
One's the covered bridge, there's a posted weight limit for the covered bridge.
Mhm.
And he said he sees trucks go over it every day that are over that weight limit. And the reason we talked about it is because I received an email that day with a neighbor that said those boards are getting looser and looser, you can hear them. She's like, over the ear, you can hear them get louder and louder.
The floorboards?
And at least the captain, Meyer, said that's the heavyweight vehicles is adding to that, probably those loosening boards. We could have an ordinance, he said, if the select board so chose, that would allow them to ticket overweight vehicles. And then in that ordinance, it could say, all emergency vehicles are exempt, town, trucks are exempt, whatever. But the captain said every day he sees like landscapers go way over the weight limit.
I'm astounded that we don't have it already.
He said in the past the select board was not, did not support it. But maybe they didn't understand that you could have exemptions, which would obviously make a huge difference.
So he's gonna get back to us.
He's already did some legwork on it, on what was possible. He sent me an email. And so if you would like, that can be an ordinance that actually, the writing's basically already created.
And
And we could create that ordinance to bring before the select board.
that's for all bridges?
We could do it for, no, I mean, I don't know. We just discussed it for the covered bridges, but yeah, probably.
Can't we
I
do
don't
it?
know why you wouldn't be able.
I guess you could, I don't know.
Because we should
Yeah, I'm sure the
limit
state
some
has
of
them.
some of the
I mean, they're all
very heavy
posted.
vehicles.
They're all posted.
And
The
no
state-
one's paying attention to them.
Yeah.
I watch it every day down by that metal bridge.
For the love of everything, that's terrifying. And I'll just add, it's similar. If you remember, the town and V-Trans changed the 30 and 40 and 50. Was that
Yes.
maybe 2 years ago?
Maybe a couple more. We actually asked them we asked them to look at speed limits in Irisville. There was a group of citizens who wanted it reduced to 45 miles an hour. And they basically said, no, you don't meet the warrants for it. However, you do meet the warrants to slow it down on the approaches to the village.
Yeah, so those approaches were done.
Yeah.
However, our ordinance doesn't reflect those.
Oh.
So the sheriff says that they're writing tickets to people all the time in that 30 and 40 zone. But we don't see any of that money right now because our ordinance doesn't reflect that change. And he couldn't believe that I didn't know about it. He's like, well, you're working on it, right? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So basically, he said, I would very much advise that we have an ordinance to update the ordinance to reflect those changes, where the 30, where the 40, and where the 50
So
are.
we don't get our local cut.
We do.
It
And
doesn't
those,
violate our
it
ordinance.
does in the 50, but in the 30, 40 where they changed, we do not.
We should do that.
Yeah, I probably.
Yeah.
So that's something else that Captain Meyer said should be pretty straightforward. And if you'd like it, then I can create that ordinance, or not even create the ordinance, just amend the ordinance that we have.
Well, I think I would, as a next step, we write a draft ordinance, update it, and draft bridge weight. I would support that at least,
And
if everyone else agrees.
so I'll just, we don't have, well, we do have a speed ordinance update. See, it was on there. I just know what it meant.
Anything else under this section? Seems like the workforce housing is dealt with down below. I don't see that as a policy or
I agree.
ordinance.
There's one ordinance I'd like to have deleted.
What do you mean deleted?
And that's the ordinance that you have to get a permit to have a lawn sale.
Have a what?
Lawn sale. I see no need. I didn't like it from the very beginning.
Someone told me about why they did it at some point, and it didn't, and now
Back in
I'm
the
skeptical.
70s, it was back in the 70s, someone in the village had a everyday lawn sale. And a few people in town got very upset about it for what reasons, I don't know. It wasn't that ugly. And convinced the select board at that time that they needed an ordinance to limit the numbers of lawn sales a person could have in a year and required a permit for lawn sales. None of the other communities have one.
Well, I can see limiting so you don't just say, oh, I'm not a store, I'm a lawn sale. But,
But
you know,
that's,
but getting a permit for it doesn't, I don't think anybody does.
oh, I know people, yeah,
Really?
oh, yeah. I'd like to see that eliminated. I'd like to see that ordinance eliminated.
We should take a look at all of our ordinances.
Yes, we should.
Well, I just added that, review the lawn sale ordinance.
All of our ordinances should be on the website.
You know, we should look at the ordinances that aren't in front of us all the time, like, you know, we do the festival permit approvals. Ought to review that just to make sure it's working. We have a vendor's permit. You know, E.C. Long setting up the maple syrup sales at the intersection, I think it's a vendor's permit.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should see what we have.
And if there's some that just are outdated, outmoded, let's get rid of them.
All right, well, I just added that. I think that's a great idea.
What is website posting of all? Oh, that's of all the ordinances and policies.
Where are you looking?
I'm still under ordinances and policies.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
essentially,
that's
I mean,
exactly
Fred and
what
I
I
had
said.
talked about it, and I'm like, I agree, I think, and I've added quite a few actually. But I have not, like, to the website.
I'm sorry, what is it?
I've added policies and ordinances
Oh,
to the
okay.
website.
Yeah.
But like, I did not add the animal one, because I think you said, I don't want you to add it yet, because it's not applicable to us. Which,
We
again,
need to
the
work.
captain agreed with
Oh, okay, good.
in an email this afternoon. He's like, yeah, he actually called it outdated, even though it was brand new.
Well, that's a whole story.
But
And we don't have to get into, but yes, that should be looked at.
So for example, I have not put that on the website.
Okay. But you get it as a high priority, and I think that's a good idea. We need to look at that and get that done, because
Which one is a high
Yeah.
priority?
domestic animal ordinance,
Yeah. I actually did a bunch of work on it today,
in fact,
based on what his email was.
okay,
And so I have some documents that I can share with you already. That
okay. Was it just dogs, or was it all animals?
mostly domestic
Dogs.
animals. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a couple things that he mentioned, but yeah, it's similar to what we have now, just a much different structure, because he said it was outdated and not relevant.
I'd like to visit the location that Aaron Shea talked about, and other people talked about, are we setting that up? Are you setting that up, or do you want me to?
I'm happy to, like, do you want to do it like before a meeting? like, before
I want
next-
to reach out to him and say when works for us to look at it, and then the housing person is here right now, would like to. But I know we have a process to go through, but I just want to see the spot.
Do we need the shades there just to look at our own property?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't
no,
think
I
so.
don't think, I'd like to look at the gravel pit too over there.
Exactly.
We should probably do it before a meeting, and I saw that Ted Kenyon has some cows out there now. We should probably do it when they're not there.
Well, they might be there till snow flies
Well, we might want to ask him that
for a specific night.
we should ask his plans for the cows, so we can pull in and not have to worry about whether he has bull there or whatever.
Do you want me to reach out and then, or is that something?
Yeah, I'd give it a couple of weeks, because it's not that big. I don't know how long they will be there. I haven't
do you-
seen them there lately.
So, I mean-
Just recently.
Do you want me to reach out and just say, hey, at some point when,
Yeah,
when it worked for
sure.
you, the select board would like to come, start their meeting early to visit the gravel pit and that town
Yeah,
site.
that's a good idea.
And that's Ken, who is it?
Doug Kenyon.
I don't know him, so
He owns Kenyon's
I figured.
farm store.
Or I can stop in and talk to Doug, whatever works.
Do you mind?
Same.
I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, why don't I take that?
Yeah, just let me know
Yeah.
when, and then we'll just, whenever you guys want to add it, what do you want, half hour, or hour before probably?
Oh, yeah. Days are getting shorter.
Mhm.
They really are.
Can we move on to conservation, climate, and natural resources?
Yes. I think so.
Why don't we check the box on the overlay?
What do you know about
See that
that?
dopamine rush.
I don't know how to check it. I'm just kidding.
No, the fact that it's done.
Yeah, that's something.
There's some other things we could maybe check.
Larissa's gonna really be disappointed she wasn't here for that.
Or
Yeah.
The digital signatures between minutes. Check that.
Where is that? I don't see it. Is that up above?
It's down to the
Is
bottom.
that the top?
That's in town operations. I just refreshed just now.
Yeah, town energy use,
Thank you.
this is, we have the solar panels, so we're all our power. We probably at some point should ask the White House Commission for thoughts on weatherization for that building, make some improvements with the roof.
I mean, I'll say this, the heating bill for that building is about is almost half the cleaning fee for that building.
Yeah, the cleaning,
So I would say we're doing pretty well.
the energy, yeah. And we,
The cleaning fee
I
is
don't know why, but the energy bill for the heating
it
for
was
that
like
building
3,000.
isn't that
It was
bad.
like 3,000-ish for the entire winter.
But we pay more than twice that to have it clean.
Yeah, that's
I mean, they do an excellent job, but it seems like a lot of money.
Just-
yeah, Jen and I again talked about it today, and in terms of just sometimes, I think it's a good policy to put things back out to bid sometimes, and I think that's something I
In
think
the
we
past,
should do.
we did things like mowing and sidewalk plowing before we took that over, put it out to bid on a regular basis.
Yeah, so I would recommend.
I think
we
it's
do
probably
that.
time that we
Yeah.
did the cleaning.
And Jen, like I brought it up with Jen a couple months ago, and she's like, "There's not really many companies out there. You may not get any bids." But today, she still said, "But it should go out for bid." And I don't know the timeline for doing that. That would be. I guess it doesn't really matter, really. Just whenever, maybe I'll.
We'll put that in the subtask list.
Yeah, I don't know where. I guess under contracts. I think I may have added it actually. I already added it.
We're all set with the solar, the Aegis project, right?
The town solar project?
Yeah, there was a maintenance contract that
Oh, yeah.
typo in it that I don't remember. I think we don't remember whether we sign that.
Did we?
So that was what I was asking about.
Okay.
Yeah, it took a while. Ages.
I guess we just lost a bunch of $17 million for EV chargers.
I just read it today. Well, so it's side note. Like I just drove to Canada, and Vermont's one of the worst states in the country that I've been to for EV charging. It's just really hard, and now I know why. And I figured it was NEVI, and it's just we never did it.
What, sorry, what happened?
You go ahead.
Oh, no.
No, well, now so under the Inflation Reduction Act, a lot of EV charging money went into it. So each state, there basically was a federal policy to say, on every major corridor, no more than 50 miles, there should be major EV charging infrastructure. Every state came up with a plan they called the NEVI plan, NEVI. Vermont basically never did it or never finished it. Then there was a process because the federal government in this administration basically took the money away, and then you could argue to get it back. Our state did not argue to get it back, so we are not getting the $17 million.
I'm surprised.
They had reasons. They said basically there's so much more money and they didn't want to make a big deal out of this little thing in comparison to billions of dollars, and that was my understanding.
Well, that is unfortunate. The private market is doing better for installing chargers, like Rivian and Tesla have opened some new ones recently, but pretty good.
But that might also have been federally funded
It's possible.
because there was multiple federal funding. And I mean, the amount of federal money going into this and then what they charge per kilowatt hour, someone's making a lot of money.
It'd be a good idea to check in with Chris Badger. Have you met Chris?
I've talked to him.
He's our energy coordinator. And works for Efficiency Vermont. Just see if he has any thoughts about weatherization ideas, or at one point we had talked to him about a grant for an EV charger here. And he just didn't.
I talked to him, I think that's the one time, I think he's who I talked to shortly after I came here, just trying to figure out, because I think you talked about it here, and he's
Yeah.
like, I think he said per capita, Waitsfield has more EV chargers than anywhere else in the state.
Jeez.
So he said, good
we do.
luck.
Really?
Yeah, there's a really, really
Oh,
fast
because
one.
of Lawson's?
Well, there's Lawson's, there's two outside of
The
Fifth
level.
Quarter,
Those are level 3
those are level 2, and
or
then
level 1.
those are
Well, no,
level
there's
2.
the-
And then by Irisville Thunder Store is level 3.
And the one by, they're both the slower level 3s, right? They're like 50 or 60. The one in front of Fifth
I'll have to
Quarter.
look again next.
I just used Fifth Quarter today, actually.
Fifth Quarter is slower than Irisville Thunder Store, but
It
Oh,
is,
really?
it might be a little,
But
but
it was
it's
the highest one.
it's faster than Lawson's, that are like 6 kilowatt hours, it's like 50, 60.
I thought
Does that
the
sound
one I had installed on my barn was a level 2.
I think it is.
Yeah, it's probably 6 kilowatt hours.
So level 3 is faster. All right, that's right. All right.
And then like the Tesla and the, Electrify America are 150 and 350. I mean, honestly, we've given,
So it's 80 kilowatt hours, Irisville Thunder Store.
Oh.
I got 45 in 33 minutes. Because I'm still waiting for my GMP charger.
I've always just used the one.
Yeah, GMP has a lot of incentives for people.
I will say,
For
so
people with EVs, not for people.
Correct.
plug-in hybrids.
Correct.
I found out.
the city of Knoxville actually has free charging everywhere. Almost every park has free level 2 charging.
Yep.
It's really nice, actually.
So where are we? We talked about Tardy, talked about ash tree plan. We are gonna have a task force.
We're working on it.
Where does it get checked off when it's done? I'm just looking at the overlay district.
I mean, I assume it's the little box to the left, and I clicked it. I clicked the checkbox. Maybe that's not how you do it. Did it not do anything when I clicked it?
I don't see anything.
Right now it's not set up to go anywhere. I just put a check next to it. Oh, I can also go to
I
status
think
and
that's
push.
what I was
I'll
waiting.
do that, and yeah. Oh, look at, it's giving me a little more,
Exactly.
it like did these like
It-
balloon and
It
bubbles.
gamified it for York.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll do that for indigenous.
And down below, we have Daniel Water Bars, Butternut Hill Road. Working on Butternut Hill. Really is not a future project. And I did talk to Josh about Dana Hill. He suggested that when we put next year's budget together, we consider putting some money in there to bring in a contractor to kind of straighten things out up there. I also had a call from camp owner on Palmer Hill, and that road is impassable, and Josh said he was gonna get to that too.
Which
Just do a
road, sorry?
basic word, Palmer Hill is class 4 road. A portion of it is class 4.
heading up into zone 2 of the overlay district.
That's right.
Okay.
Anything else?
Can I add one more thing that I put in here? That you may have noticed, although you probably didn't because you had to really closely, the welcome to Waitsfield signs are down.
Oh, yeah.
They took them down last week, they painted the poles. I think I sent you guys all an email, but I also put it in this, a research study that was done 11 years ago. And part of it was that entrance, the north side, moving that more either in the right of way or close to the right of way. I have the link in this. It's page 35 to 36. And so I did reach out to Wood and Wood and just asked for them to, because they were gonna put it up this week, and just asked for the northern entrance to just maybe pause for a minute and just, I wanted to bring this to your attention, that there was a study done and they recommended these changes. Essentially would move the welcome to Waitsfield sign close to the road, because right now you can't see it, there's actually limbs that cover it. And then even add a couple of trees so it feels more like an entrance to the town, which automatically, psychologically creates this calming effect, a street traffic calming effect.
What page did you say?
It's so if you go to my memo, where are we?
Yes.
Number 10 is the North Gateway signage and enhancements.
Okay.
And there's a link in there.
Is that in the packet?
Yeah.
Okay.
The link to the
Got it.
to the paper is in there, because it's a pretty long paper. And it's just on Josh Schwartz on the planning district's website. And so if you go to page 35, 36 on it, it actually shows pictures of what it looks like now, and it shows pictures of what they kind of envisioned it looked like. First of all, it's a well thought out study, and I agree with
It
that.
actually was an excellent study.
Yeah.
There were other improvements on both public and private property in the village that were all really thoughtful and creative.
Like, yeah, the town center.
Yeah.
But this is something that we can
Sidewalks
act on
past
now.
Parsonage Lane.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not finding it either.
So
What I'm wondering is,
So my memo.
Yep.
Number 10, North Gateway signage and enhancement. There's a link to the report at the bottom of that. It should be blue. You should be able to click it. So Josh Schwartz, since he has a pretty good connection at Waitsfield Telecom, he called him on Thursday, but he has not heard back to just connect me. He thought that'd be a good way to see, is the reason it is where it is, would they be inclined to allow us to move it in front of the power pole? And if not, maybe you can work with V-Trans to talk about maybe partially being in the right of way, but I don't think that's necessary. If Waitsfield Telecom is okay with us maybe moving it in front of the power pole and a little closer to the road.
trying to remember the speed warning signs, the blinking speed warning sign isn't in this picture. It wasn't up when this was done.
It's
So,
before, right?
yeah, I'm wondering if you're moving it, if this location is where that sign is now.
Not quite, because Josh and I walked out there last
Okay.
week. It is there, but it's definitely back from there. And that we'd have to make sure it's the right distance to make sure. But
What-
that's,
Yeah,
What's
I'm,
the next step?
the next step would be
Needs to be voted
just
on.
you guys saying, yeah, I think it's a good move. But to reach out to Waitsfield Telecom, see if there's a reason it's where it is now. Because it's not, like, you have to really look for it, and see if they would be inclined,
It's hidden.
it's hidden.
it's it,
If they'd be okay with us talking about moving it to a better location as shown in that
That'd
document.
be great.
I think it's wonderful.
You might want to check with the tree board about trees. And I don't think the trees would complete their proposal, but I don't know that it's, I think this, moving the sign to a more visible location.
It'd be the
stands by
first step,
itself.
if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, I mean, I agree, the trees creates that traffic calming in that
Yeah.
entrance, which I think we would want.
Yep.
Okay, then I will let Wood and Wood know that we're gonna work on moving that and actually, side note, the 2 old signs are behind the building here. Cause Steve wanted one. So they took them down, the Welcome to Waitsfield signs. So I don't know if you guys want something done with those. They brought them here because Steve said, I'm fine. But,
I'm fine. Steve wants one. Wonder what he's gonna do with it.
oh no, that guy cracks me up, man.
Where are they?
They're there,
Okay.
leaning against the building. They're hidden. Like they were on the road. Thank you. I think it's good to, when the chance arises, when there's research that's done, to listen to it. I think that's all I have.
What, am I right here that on the consent agenda, D, alternate authorized rep, state revolving fund? We didn't deal with the regional, regional aid agreement.
We didn't do it?
I'm just not seeing where it's on the agenda.
I may have missed it. Did I say I was gonna put that on the agenda?
No, it's in the packet.
Wait, which one? Sorry.
It might, hold on a second.
The alternate authorized rep state revolving fund is something that needs to be signed by the select board for me to be able to sign those documents.
It's in the consent agenda.
Yeah.
D.
Did I not include the agreement or it in the packet?
I didn't see it. I do see it in what I'm talking about, the Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission Emergency Mutual Aid Agreement.
Oh, yeah, so I did not, so
Right.
I talked to Josh Rogers about it, and I was like, Josh, he said, yeah, send it to me. Josh is not a big fan of it, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. He in text form was like, I'm not a fan of it, basically, because we have something really good going, and he's afraid that this is gonna muddy the waters of something that's really working.
I would think this would codify what we,
I would think so too, so I wanna,
But again, this just happened, like we just received this.
okay.
And so I just sent it to Josh on Thursday, and then he just responded today, and we were supposed to get together, and we didn't have a chance to get together. So I haven't, because I thought it seemed like a pretty good agreement.
I thought so too. I was very excited by it. Now, did Keith Cubbin write this?
I don't know if he wrote
CV, it
it.
was CVRPC?
Yes.
No, I thought.
They passed it this
I mean,
winter.
I'd be curious with Josh, if he doesn't wanna broaden it, because, Moretown and Facein trucks were hauling gravel for us. And we were working in Facein last year.
Sorry.
Yeah, and he likes that.
Yeah.
But it seems like that's what this is.
Well, I agree.
Well, there's no, it's not on the agenda, so we'll take it up another
It's in
time.
his administrative report and it has a recommended motion, so it shows it.
Yeah, that's
It's not
right.
on the agenda.
Yeah, and that was my mistake, partially because I was waiting to hear back from Josh, and so I messed up, basically. I was like, this is what it would look like, and I think after I wrote that, Josh is like, I'm questioning this. Can you please send it to me again?
Well, let's wait and hear.
And I have his email if you want me to read it, but
No.
No, it's,
I'll circle back with him, or maybe
Okay.
Brian, well, we may see him tomorrow afternoon.
In fact, I'd like to see more things like this within the valley.
His concern may be it might bureaucratize it, make it, Montpelier and other towns far away.
I think he's
Whereas
also,
now everybody, they respond, they just,
he doesn't want someone else to have, they work really well together,
Yes.
and he doesn't want another voice as part of this that starts slowing down progress, probably.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
So more to be learned. Same situation, I think, York, with the goat herding contract amendment, if we need to do anything about it.
So I think I wrote about it. Essentially, there was,
you have amended Conservation Commission contract under the consent agenda.
Okay.
and it's in there, right? I included the
Yeah.
packet. So essentially, the federal government made changes that made, Brian, what's the name of the organization?
Lake Champlain Basin Program.
Lake Champlain Basin Program had to amend
Yes.
the way these contracts look.
Yep.
And so this is basically just amending it to what it has to be amended to.
Okay.
And I think I've made it pretty clear of what it was and what it needs to be.
So good.
Okay.
And are there any other questions for me on the consent agenda?
We have a motion on the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great. Select Board roundtable?
Yeah, we had a meeting with District 6, V-Trans,
Oh,
about the bridge, the metal bridge, the metal road
I
bridge.
never heard back when I said that I wasn't available. I didn't hear whether anything was happening or not.
Yeah, we had the
On
meeting.
the Friday?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. One of the first things they said was it'd be 10 years to get a new bridge in there. Between permitting, engineering, and actual construction, it'd be 10 years.
It's crazy.
Yeah. What they were suggesting, there was a possibility that have new stringers put across between the girders, between the I-beams. So those stringers that are going across there now that are rotting could be reinforced by adding new ones. And that would buy us time to go through the process of replacing the bridge in 10 years.
What would it do with the weight limit?
I'm not certain.
I think they said it would, I feel like they
Historic?
implied it would be a pretty big improvement, and it would include then repaving,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. And I actually, when we talked about it, it honestly made me feel that the FEMA funding, if that ever happens, would actually work towards this also.
What I'm hearing is we should not plan on any FEMA funding.
Every time I meet with FEMA right now, they're like, no, your project is still ahead, it's still going.
Yeah,
The bridge, the metal bridge?
bridge or
Metal
the
road.
reimbursement?
Both. I mean, the Meadowbrook Bridge, they've been very clear, if we don't replace it and fix it, the funding should be available for it. Now, it's not all funding, it's a certain percentage.
No, it's just a help with the decking.
But we need to have that, was it called an A&E study?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. If I could advocate for anything, from what I heard, it's that we push for an A&E study, which, do you remember what the price would be? It was like gonna be 15,000.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Which,
What is it, architectural engineering?
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
like a scoping study, which I think is sort of ridiculous. If they come out here and condemn the bridge, why do we need a scoping study to find whether or not we need a new bridge?
Is that what it would be, or would it be a scoping study to say, what can we do to reinforce it as an interim measure?
I think we'd have to have both.
Yeah.
I think we probably would have to have both.
Did V-Trans, did they have any cost sharing?
No.
They were very strict about, there was no funding. And the idea of the possibility of having a temporary bridge in there, they said there might be 3, and that was before all the problems up north this last weekend. So the idea of getting a temporary bridge, I think is
I mean, the truth is,
very unlikely.
we might get cornered into where we have to do something with the covered bridge and make another bridge around it, or, I mean, we may be cornered into that just, if they put that out and there's no bridges to put in its place.
Well, why wouldn't it take the same amount of time to replace another bridge or build another bridge?
I think the
know.
answer is reinforcing the bridge that's there.
I think in short term,
And you don't need any permitting for that.
And
If we-
actually,
If we go and try to put something up by the Pine Brook
that's
Bridge,
right.
we'd have to go through all sorts of permitting, and we'd have to get right away from the
Yep.
landowners, and it'll be 10 years before that happens. I
And
exaggerate, but
FEMA actually said, again, we'll get $9,000 towards the A&E study if it says that part of the damage was caused, and they were confident about this, was caused by the flooding event. And the inspector, the bridge inspector for Washington County, said without question,
Yeah.
that flooding event is pushed over the edge,
Right.
basically, and degraded the bridge faster than it would have degraded otherwise.
We have that.
with all that extra traffic.
What the inspector said?
Yeah.
No, and Josh Schwartz actually asked him to send it in writing, but
please.
we suspect that when he does inspect it, it will say that, is what we're hoping. And then when we do an A&E study, the A&E study, if him saying that actually doesn't help. If the A&E study also says that, then FEMA, I think it's like $9,100 or something, will go towards the A&E study. That sounds right?
Yeah. But I haven't met with people lately. Have you been continuing to have those?
It's been a few weeks because we're still on the H&H studies. And I've been told that the two H&H studies, we should hear from the next couple weeks. That's for the two culverts that we had to replace last
Oh.
July.
Well, I foresee that bridge being closed and it being a significant amount of time before we get the study done and then the actual bid let out and the work done. That bridge could be closed for a
Did
while.
they have any suggestions on moving forward with reinforcement? Do we need to do, can we just put that out to bid?
I think it's a good idea. The inspection should be done this month or early August.
We don't have to wait for the inspection.
But
No,
yeah, I would advocate to, do it as quickly. We know we have to do it.
Yeah, what support will V-Trans provide?
I would honestly say 0.
Yeah, that's about what
They
we're
were
pretty
they-
much on our own on this bridge.
I mean, they were helpful, like giving
Well,
me
at least they
ideas
told
for
us that they couldn't
reinforcing.
help, and that in itself was helpful.
And it was there, and they were I think they were the ones that mentioned that we might be able to reinforce it. I don't remember who said it, but I think it was someone through V-Trans. So that's helpful.
So it's the engineer. I don't,
A bridge engineer,
yeah.
structural?
Oh, that's right.
Scribner?
But he's
Seven
a
Scribner?
V-Trans employee.
There's a V-Trans employee.
He was pretty helpful, actually.
I
Without
got the
being
most-
helpful, he was helpful.
I got the most information from him. There's 7 Scribner.
I mean, if you
Right.
like, so maybe this is something that I don't really have to do tons of, but maybe we should meet one more time with Alice and Keith and you, obviously, and just say, let's get that A&E study and put out.
Let's do it.
I
We're
mean, I
gonna pay
guess,
for it.
Yeah.
And the bridge that we have to pay for in 10 years, we're gonna be paying for that.
I don't know if we have to go out for bid. I mean, it's probably over 10,000, so.
Well, I think
technically,
it probably should go out to bid.
Yeah,
Yeah, just see who's out there.
I guess we just need to see what an A&E study is.
So we ought to, I guess I'm advocating for a reserve fund.
Yeah.
When we get into the budget.
Let's try to have something here even in 2 weeks.
Yes, I do, but
I-
beyond
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We
So
know that
our
bridge-
bridge and culvert reserve fund
Oh.
needs to be beefed up.
beefed up,
Yes,
exactly,
100%.
perfect.
So maybe you think we could come up with a little more information to come up with an RFP to present to the board in 2 weeks or 4 weeks?
2 weeks, let's plan, let's do it in 2 weeks.
How can I help you do that? Or do you want to spearhead that meeting just to say what needs to be in this and then create a document to,
Alice probably has the information. I bet she could tell us.
right? Do you want me to send out an email tomorrow? Okay.
And then on the work plan, so under road bridge. Starting the RFP for next meeting. RFP draft.
You're good at keeping my details.
Oh, here it is, $10,000 to $20,000. $15,000 to $20,000 for engineering. Seems like it has to have 2 engineering studies done. The initial one is $15,000 to $20,000. And then the actual one for the bridge design is like $300,000 for the bridge design.
That's for a new bridge,
That's for the bridge.
but it shouldn't be for the reinforcement.
The reinforcement, the study, as I understand it, would be about 15 to 20,000. And then the repairs, the actual repairs on top of that.
We've got 110 in the bridge and culvert reserve now.
Oh, we could use that right up.
Well, that's good to know, for our discussion of budget. I mean, I agree, for the next fiscal year, it'll be smart to see what we can do with that.
Okay.
That's really, I think that's good. I'm
That's great.
happy about that.
Got that one forward.
Yeah, thanks, Fred. I forgot about that meeting until you started talking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a good meeting,
I thought so, yeah.
because the engineer.
Any other select board roundtable? George, do you have anything else?
I don't think so.
We have a very brief executive session.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty brief.
Actually, maybe as part of town administrator's report, just a very high elevation, the work on cybersecurity that's been going on.
Okay. There's,
Oh, I'm sorry, I may have read this wrong. There's an item in the consent agenda, I didn't see how it was laid out. I guess I would like to have it pulled if it's not too late.
We did just approve it,
Can I re-amend it?
but what is it?
The rekeying of the doors at the General Wade House.
Do you want to change it,
Yes,
the agreement?
Well,
yes.
the thing that was approved was review locksmith quote for tenant access, but I don't think we approved the quote. Okay.
I mean,
I
well, I
looked at-
gave it,
I looked at item.
it was a $900
Well, I'm-
review
Oh, so we
quote for
were,
tenant
we were
access.
approving that quote, okay.
Yeah, sorry, that was written poorly.
Or we could have an additional later on. I looked at everything under Alpha A, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
I get confused.
Right, because
may
A has
not.
items for approval and then
That may not be very clear.
no.
The consent agenda was number 4, A,
B,
B,
C, D.
C, and D. Okay, I misread that.
Well, it probably isn't as clear as it could be then.
It should probably just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. General Wade Firehouse, Three King, General Wade Doors, and that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I guess I did items for approval like how we always did it. And then, yeah, it's not as clear as it could be.
What's your concern?
I'd like the president of the Historical Society to sit down with the president of the select board and discuss the lock and keys that goes to the museum area. I'd like have that area more open more often.
Yeah.
But I'd like to have it secured at night, maybe automatically with a lock that would automatically unlock in the morning at 8, lock at 4, something like that.
It sounds
So, yeah, so the museum could be open to the public every day. And then secured at night. And that type of lock is not on this proposal.
Can you go ahead with
Everything else, if we
everything
add
else,
this
and then
later.
we'll come back with an amendment?
Okay.
Okay. Did you got that?
I'm sorry?
You got that? I mean, you'll bring that to the General Way House Commission? I mean, I can let Anne Marie know that it passed,
Okay,
but that the main door, I guess, doesn't need to be done.
Yeah.
And we'll come back with an amendment to have a time lock probably.
I guess is the board in general agreement that the museum should be open during the day in this?
Yeah, I
yeah, I agree with that.
always wondered why you gotta go up the back stairs to get upstairs.
Well, things are changing.
And it's been open, most days I go there, it is usually open.
Yeah.
I don't know,
But I don't know if it's
one of the
secured
rectors
at night. The door should be, I perceive, automatically closing, but you can open it then at the end of the day, it locks itself.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
And we're getting a fire door, so
That's good because we're in violation of the fire code right now with that
Yeah.
door propped open all the time.
okay. So we'll bring back an amendment and move forward with everything else.
I mean,
Okay.
generally speaking, Brian, cybersecurity, we have a lot of action moving forward. The biggest thing is last week we had a type of training. The office was closed for half a day. And the training also had, it was basically going through a series of questions. And from those questions, there'll be recommendations. And those recommendations will be brought to the select board probably in 2 weeks during the executive session, as advised by our security team. And then after that, and when things are approved, then that will be out of executive session. But yeah, there's a lot of action moving forward. It's been a big part of my days, and Steve's. And we're working closely with our insurance carrier, Beasley Insurance. And overall, it's been a good process, I think. And I'll add our IT person, Henry. And I spoke tonight, and he's also working on a bunch of things to move us forward. So I think we have a really solid team, not working in a silo, ensuring that we shore up. I mean, I don't want to call them weaknesses, but keeping up with the times.
And there are some additional details about the cybersecurity vulnerabilities and the investigation underway that are subject to executive session conversation.
That's correct.
So can we have a motion to move into executive session to discuss cybersecurity vulnerabilities and legal issues pursuant to 1 VSA 313A1E?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, John. And that's new. I think that just passed.
Yes.
Which is timely.